Hi there folks, and welcome back to Spring Powered South African Air Gunner. I'm extremely excited to show you what we have today. Today we've got a couple of different pellets on the test bench. Well, not actually a couple of different pellets, the same brand but different shapes of pellet. We've got the rifle field on test. We're going to take a look at how these guys do in the field. So first of all, we're going to take a look at what the shape of the pellet is and its weight. We're going to then have a look at the general condition of the pellet and how they come stored for us. Their containers are extremely nice. They've got screw-on lids, so makes picking up pellets out of a bag or a rifle case much less of a habit. We know one manufacturer that doesn't want to put a screw-on lid on, and sometimes if you walk around in the field it can come loose. Anyway, I'm extremely excited to see what these guys can do. I've been testing them for the last couple of weeks and so far I'm really impressed. So we're going to take a look at what they can do at 25 meters today. Let's get started. So starting at the top row over here, we shot this with the rifle field dome, which was the 16.36 grain. And starting here with the very first grouping, let's find the largest measurement, and that looks to be at about there. Right, so we're looking at about a 9.3 mil grouping on the first one. It looks like it shrunk down quite a bit. That might be like a 7, slightly larger there. Right, so this one looks to be about an 8.1 millimeter grouping right over here. Moving on, this one, I pulled this one shot off to the left. I know I did, but the overall grouping is still like 11.5 millimeters, even if I include that flyer. Then further on, we got a nice tight group over here, which is going to bring it back down to about 9.6 millimeters. So that is excellent stuff. And we had 2 shots in the mag left, so I placed them on this target. I'm not too sure what happened there, but going off of these 4 groupings, we did very nicely with the rifle field dome. Moving on down to the pointed, and this was the premium series, and these are 19.9 grain. These shots, it looked like they shot worse, but because of the pointed pellet, it tears the paper instead of punching a nice hole. So looks can be deceiving. This first group we shot over here was about a, let's look, 5, 6, 7, 6.5, around a 6.5 millimeter group. That is excellent stuff for 25 meters out of this rifle. Next up, we've got a little larger group, but not by much, probably around a 7 or an 8 mil group, and quite tight as well. We're looking at about a 8.0 millimeter group, so that's good stuff right there as well. Next group shrunk down considerably. Now you can actually see where the pellet impacted the paper. It leaves like a smear of lead. I'll try to get a close-up of that. So I'm going to measure from the outside of the smear to the outside of that smear over there, and that gives us a 7.0 millimeter group. That is perfect. I could not ask for better. Lastly, we've got another group which is exactly the same size, about 7 millimeters. And lastly, this one opened up slightly, and we've got about a 8.1 millimeter group. Overall, both these pellets performed really excellently. This is perfect for hunting or even target shooting. You can see these little dots are extremely small. The very outer circle in this dot is only 25 millimeters. So that bull is probably only like 2 mils, and the bull is only 2 mils. So if you look at that in comparison to what the groups look like on paper, this is excellent stuff. Right guys, we are back from the range, and wow, what a surprise. These pellets performed way above what I ever thought they would be able to achieve. I'm really excited to show you guys what these pellets did. It's really incredible what they did, and as you can see, the proof is in the pudding, or in the groupings, as us air gunners would say. So I'm extremely excited to do further testing with these pellets. Unfortunately, with the wind is actually kicking up at the moment, and the predictions for the next couple of days are not great. I'm going to hold off on finishing this video to see if we can't squeeze in some 50 meter groupings. However, I am quite doubtful. The wind has been really rough the last couple of weeks, and we've had a little bit of a storm and so forth here out on the plot. So I'm really happy that I got a couple of hours in today just shooting with these pellets. They did perform phenomenally out of this gun. I'm really super excited to say they performed well with the silencer on, with the silencer off, and with our muzzle device installed. Now what's really funny is that muzzle device actually increased the speed of the projectile by a couple of feet per second. And now when I started thinking of this, at first it didn't make sense. But the more I thought about it, it does actually make sense. Once that projectile leaves the barrel, there's turbulent air around it. So if you can visualize this, the pellet exiting the barrel, and as soon as it exits the barrel, the force which is pushing the pellet has to be faster, right? Because it has to accelerate that pellet. So the turbulent air can actually curl around the skirt of the pellet, dragging it, creating like a fluid drag on the pellet. Whereas once the muzzle device is installed, it completely strips away that air. Now, a funny thing about that muzzle device is if you take it and you try to push a pellet through it, it won't go through. The pellet skirt will get caught. So that diameter of the hole in the baffles is exactly 5.5 millimeters. It's 22 cal exactly. And the pellets are usually 5.53 or 5.52, 5.51, depending on what brand and what skirt thickness and blah blah blah. So your skirt thickness is bigger than the actual diameter of your bore. So what this does is it essentially, like, as soon as that pellet enters, it seals it off. So there's no chance for turbulent air to escape and come around that skirt of the pellet to essentially slow it down. Just a little interesting fact to it. I'm not sure if I'm 100% correct, but that's my theory. Yeah, very, very interesting result. Like we saw previously with our harmonics testing for suppressors, we also saw a slight increase in velocity depending on what silencer we used, and that can also probably be attributed to that fluid drag. In physics, you consider air to be a fluid when working with calculations. So very interesting result, if I can put it that way. But guys, I am super stoked about what these pellets can do. Now I've got one more thing that I want to test out, and unfortunately this is a long-term thing. I want to know how consistent are these batches between shipments. Now Pellet Guns are the exclusive importer of this brand, so if you're looking for these pellets and you want to give them a shot, head on over to www.pellet-guns.com. I hope I've got that right. Yeah, pelletguns.com. So it's pellet and then -guns.com. So they will be able to help you guys with these rifle field pellets. Go pick up a couple of tins, put them through your rifle, see how they do. I think you'll be quite impressed. If nothing else, they're nice and high quality plinking pellets. Out of my rifle, they shot superbly, and I will be doing a hunting episode with these pellets coming up to see how their external ballistics are in the field and how well they do at taking down small game. So stick with us, guys. This is going to be a great next couple of weeks. I'm really excited for the things that lay ahead. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to smash that subscribe button. If you found this informative, please consider sharing this video and showing it to your mates. I would appreciate it a bunch. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shoot safe and enjoy. Cheers.